Hello and welcome to part 3 of how to play Ark. In this video, we are going to be covering from level 21 to 30 and showing you how to use every single item in between, how to tame everything involved between these 10 levels. If you did miss part 1 and part 2, there are links in the description down below that you can go ahead and catch up on as we take you on this How to Play Ark series. At level 21, we unlock the painting canvas, the tranq arrow, scissors, and the wall torch. The painting canvas is, well, a canvas that can be literally placed on anything for some reason, which is pretty cool, and can be painted on just like how we painted on in part 1 and 2 of different things with the paintbrush. Wall torches can be placed on the inside or the outside of a house, filled with fuel like spark powder or wood, and just light them to, well, get light. They're just a light source. These scissors can be used to actually cut your hair or another thing's hair. If you want to cut your own hair, you're going to right click and you'll see you can actually change your hairstyle here from one of the other hairstyles. If you want a different hairstyle for your character, you can set the hair length that you want. You can also select the hair color dye or the hair tip color dye, but you need to have the dye itself to make this, which we did in part 1 and 2 of the series. You can also access your facial hair here, change all of those exact same things, and when you're ready, you just click accept, and that, if you did change a hairstyle, it will actually cut your hair and give you hair as an item. Alternatively, you can use left click on animals that have fur that you can kind of like cut their pelt, such as sheep, or even other players too. Tranq arrows are the next best thing that you can use in this game. When you go ahead and you go to the mortar and pestle, you can put spoiled meat, which you guys should know how to get, as well as narco berries, which you get from berries in order to craft narcotic. And once you have narcotic, you will just use narcotic with arrows to be able to make tranq arrows in your crafting screen. Now you can either drag the tranq arrows onto your bow directly, or you can use the new system involved is that when you're in your character like this, if you hold R, you'll see we can actually go ahead and change the arrow we're using. There's stone arrows at the top or tranq arrows on the right, and this will change us to the different ammunition type. Now, tranq arrows are quite simply the best tool to knock things out. There we go. Dodo sleeping. Much better than a club, much better than a slingshot. It's the best thing you'll be using for most of the early game to knock dinosaurs and creatures out so that you can tame them or kill them easily. I don't know. At level 22, you will unlock the parachute, the trophy wall mount, the tripwire alarm trap, and the pulmonoscorpius saddle. Let's begin with the trophy mount. The trophy wall mount can be placed on a wall, and as you can see, you can open up its inventory and drag a trophy like one of the boss heads that you get and put it on there and, well, pretty much get like a nice little trophy. Kind of cute, not gonna lie. The next thing is the parachute. The parachute is an item that you're gonna use in your hotbar, and you're gonna use this to jump from one side of a place to another. For example, if I want to go over here and I press my parachute button in my hotbar, you can see here I literally have the parachute. That's gonna slow my fall. Does what exactly a parachute does. It does consume it though, so once you land here, the parachute is gone and you will have to have crafted multiple to use each one. The next thing is the tripwire alarm trap. You have to place 2 of these near each other. So if I grab one and I put this one over there, I have to put it close enough to another one like this, and it will make a wire through it, and it will also say connected. Now, when an enemy dinosaur or an enemy player walks through here, this stuff will start, like the wire will trip, and these things will make a ton of noise. If you want to go ahead and rewire it, you just have to go to one of them, hold E, and you can go ahead and you can change the settings to trip wild dinosaurs, trip allies. The unwire option is when it's like used, and then you can go ahead and use the rewire option to wire it up again so that you can keep using it each time somebody sets it off. Now I'm going to show you how you can tame a scorpion and what you can use them for. Now you are going to need a bola for them, so you can go ahead and stop them in place just like this. And now you're going to use your tranq arrows with your bow, and you're going to shoot this thing in the face every 5 seconds until it goes to sleep. The reason why you want to shoot it with a 5-second timer in between is because the arrow gives torpidity after the first hit, and then again for the next few seconds up until like a total of 5 seconds or so. Once the scorpion is knocked unconscious, this thing is going to eat spoiled meat as its favorite thing. And the best and quickest way to get a lot of spoiled meat is by going to normal raw meat, right-clicking, splitting the stack by all, so that all of these will spoil in 7 minutes, and this will give you 50 spoiled meat. I already have some, and what we're going to go ahead and do is put spoiled meat in its inventory, because this is the food of choice that it's going to use to tame itself. Even when you're feeding it, you're going to want to feed it spoiled meat. There we go, we've tamed this up. Now we can go ahead and put the saddle on it. And now we can go ahead and ride the scorpion. Pretty cool. Though a little bit terrifying with how close this thing is to my backside. I don't know how safe I feel. You should know that the scorpion's attacks deal torpor damage, which allows it to knock out creatures, but I haven't used it too much myself, as I relied more on tranq darts. And if you want to get this damage to do even more, you can level up your scorpion's melee damage so that it adds more torpor and deals more damage as well. At level 23, you're going to unlock the fur armor, the whole fur armor line, as well as the procoptodon saddle, which is like the giant kangaroo. Now, a lot of these are going to require a new material called pelt, hair, or wool. Wool you can get from sheep. Hair you get from, well, cutting your hair and changing your hairstyle. And pelt is probably the easiest thing to get. I say easy, but it's actually a little difficult because you need to go to the snow biome area, and you're going to be killing things like mammoths and dire wolves in order to get pelts. So you have to kill these creatures, and you can harvest pelt from them so that you can craft these new armors. In case you haven't realized, fur armor is the best armor to use during the cold, at least in the snow biome, like in the open area. Apart from like scuba gear. Scuba gear is also really good for like cold places, but more in the water. You'll see across the fur armor, there is a high cold resist across all of them, but it also comes with a negative heat resistance, which means anytime it's warm around you at all, anywhere, you're going to get very hot very quickly. So you can't wear this in warm climates. You have to wear this only where it's cold. This is what a procoptodon looks like. When you tame one, they are going to be very passive. You will have to somehow lead it into a trap, or build a pillar wall around it like we used for the raptor. And then you're just going to knock it out with tranq arrows, and you're going to feed it berries in order to tame it. It is a herbivore, so it's going to take herbivore food. Go ahead, put the procoptodon saddle on it, and then you can ride it. Now the kangaroo moves pretty damn quick. It's able to harvest bushes and berries and stuff, which is nice. When you hold shift, you can see here that its actual like running speed it's pretty damn quick. And if you thought that was quick, if you hold down spacebar and you look in the sky, you can literally fly insane amounts of distances by doing these big jumps. At level 24, you unlock all these stone structures, like the stone foundation, walls, ceiling, the doors and windows, as well as the smoke grenade. So let's start out by showing you the stone structures. Quite simply, just like the wood and the thatch, you can build a house out of stone, which is stronger than wood, like how wood was stronger than thatch. This will probably take you the most amount of farming to get all the stone and materials to craft a base like this. But it's something you'll probably end up working towards first as you play Ark Survival Evolved, or Ascended, I mean. The smoke grenade is a little interesting because I honestly don't know what you'd use it for. In PvP, it's maybe used as a distraction or a signal, but this is what it looks like. This is what a smoke grenade does in Ark Survival Ascended. Not much of a crazy effect, if I'm honest. I mean, like, it hardly does anything. Maybe if you like stack a bunch of them, maybe it will like go all over the place. Let's see. Okay, so if you throw like 200 smokes in one area, you can't see anything there. And it also looks kind of weird. But yeah, that's what a smoke grenade does. You should know that it does not affect dinosaurs in the wild. They will still chase you. At level 25, we'll unlock the stone foundation and support, the artifact pedestal, the magnifying glass, the pike, the crossbow, the stone pillar, as well as the wooden behemoth gateway and gate. Starting out with the behemoth gateway, you can see it's a lot bigger than the normal gateway. It's probably like 4 times the size. It's like the difference between 4K and 1080p. It's massive. It's huge. It's insane. You can see the comparison just like this between the size of the two gates. We also get the stone pillars, which you can see have been rimmed around the roof of my base here. And you can also use this as a advanced form of trap that you can use to trap most creatures that can chew through wood, such as a T-Rex. Stone structures are unbreakable by many of the dinosaurs in the game. So if you can lead them into a trap at the right height using stone pillars, they will not be able to escape until you let them out or knock them out and tame them. So feel free to get creative with how you use these. The next thing we unlock is the upgrade to the bow. We get the crossbow. The crossbow is a much stronger version of the bow. It's a little bit slower to reload and shoot. But when you go ahead and you use this with tranq arrows, again, when you hold R, you can change between the ammo types like this with this whole menu. You can even craft more by using the top section over here. If you have the ingredients, it will craft more arrows for you. You should know that when you use the crossbow and you use a tranq arrow on a dinosaur, it's actually going to deal more torpor damage. So you'll actually use less tranq arrows with a crossbow than you would with a normal bow to knock something out. We'll also unlock the pike, which is a steel or metal version of the spear. It's unthrowable, but you can use it to jab like this, get a nice big distance. It hits things from far away very nicely. So if you want a nice melee weapon, this is probably gonna be it. Now the artifact pedestal as well as the magnifying glass right over here are going to require a new resource. This resource is called obsidian. This is what obsidian looks like. It's like this very slick, hard black metal. You're going to use a pickaxe to harvest this so that you can get the most amount of obsidian from it. I'll show you some locations of where you can find this, but they're actually in the same locations you can find metal. So they're on this volcanic mountain right over here at latitude 42.2, longitude 35.7. You'll find them all over that mountain. There is another mountain that is easier to get to that has less dangers than the volcano mountain, like over here on this obsidian right over here, right at the top of this mountain and around the mountain. I think you can find a few more nodes. This location over here on the map is right over here at latitude 34.3, longitude 60.6. The next location is the mountain in the redwoods forest. You can see there's obsidian around it here as well. Basically on the highest mountaintops is where you're going to get this obsidian. And you can see here on the map, this is where I am right now in the middle of the map, basically latitude 57.7, longitude 47.5. You can also see that, yeah, this is generally a dangerous area to visit because, yeah, T-Rex. Now, when you have the magnifying glass can do things that a lot of people probably didn't know. When you hold right click with a magnifying glass, it tells you what rocks are or what different things are. For example, this is a metal vein. It tells you can get stone and metal from this. So if you don't know what you can harvest from something, use the magnifying glass and look at it. Obsidian, stone and obsidian for harvesting this. This is crystal. If I go ahead and I look at it, you get stone, crystal, rare mushroom. But you can also go ahead and use this on creatures. If I go ahead and I look at this gallimimus over here, you can see I can see its health is 1,819 and its torpor is 1,001. To show you this as I kind of like get this up, I'll hit it with a few tranq arrows and we'll see how that torpidity counter looks in a second. So I'm going to shoot it with a few more. That should be fine. If I go ahead and I whip out my magnifying glass now, you can see its torpidity is still going up. It went up to 503, and now it's slowly going down. This is a way to track if you need to shoot something with more arrows. However, it's a little inconvenient because you need to be like right up against the dinosaur to see the numbers. As for the artifact pedestal, when you place this down and you collect an artifact from one of the 10 artifact caves on the island map, which we'll discuss in a future video because those are something you use to unlock boss fights when you're ready to get tech engrams, which is much later. So I don't know why you get this right now, but you do get this right now. And when you grab an artifact, you can actually put it in here and it will display it just like this, which looks pretty cool. You can use this to make really interesting designs in your base, make it look really fun and exciting. And also, you know, it looks pretty eerie. I like it. At level 26, you'll unlock the medium crop plot, the water jar, and the stego saddle. Now, the medium crop plot is just a size bigger than the small one and will get you more crops than the small one does for growing your stuff in here. The water jar is like the water skin, but is made out of crystal and doesn't break and doesn't leak. You stand in water, you fill it up, it has 200 water, You can go ahead and use this to drink or even use it in your cooking pot over here to pass water across just like this so that there's water in here. It's essentially an upgrade to the water skin. Now, when you want to tame a stegosaurus, you're going to use stone pillars around it and basically trap it in a nice area. Then you're going to use a crossbow with tranq darts to knock it out nice and simple. Once it's sleeping, you're going to feed it herbivore stuff like majo berries or even the vegetables if you're growing those as yet. Kibble would be the best. Now, when we go ahead and we put a stego saddle on a stegosaurus has a few things that it can do. It can harvest plants like it would normally. Now, a stegosaurus can harvest wood really nicely like this, albeit a little bit slow because of how slow it moves. But if you look at the top right here and I hold the H key, it says hardened. What this means is that the stegosaurus actually takes way less damage from all sources. So while on other dinosaurs you might get like 500 damage, on the stegosaurus you'll probably only take like 80 damage, or maybe even less. The stegosaurus is great for soaking turret bullets. It's something that's used in PvP a lot. You can also impale a creature or an enemy with your tail by using the right-click attack. When you're aiming at something, you can literally impale it and get it stuck on the tail. It also does a fair amount of knockback damage as well as just regular damage. You're probably going to end up using it more for PvP than you would in PvE, if I'm honest though. At level 27, we finally unlocked the stone sloped wall. I have no idea why this wasn't just with all the other stone stuff. We get the stone gateway, the stone reinforced gateway, the pachyrhinosaurus saddle, as well as the stone triangle roof corner. So more building pieces. So looking at those stone corners, you can see now the base looks like this. You can really get a nice design. If you go ahead and extend this further, you can mix wood with stone and you can make some really cool looking builds in the game now. The stone gateway looks like this. It's the same size as the small wooden one. It obviously just takes more of a beating, and because it's stone, several creatures are not even able to damage it anymore, much like the wood one. The pachyrhinosaurus has a few abilities that I don't think many people know about. Now, first off, when you grab one of these, you're going to want to try trap it in the stone pillars in around it so that it cannot escape. And what you're going to do is knock it out to the body, shoot it with crossbow shots in the body, not in the head. It's got a very hard head. It's not going to take much torpor shots to the head. Much like a triceratops, you want to rather do your damage to the body to get more damage because of the head's defense. And interestingly enough, even though you can feed these mejoberries and vegetables to tame them, their preferred food of choice is bug repellent. You can feed them bug repellent to tame them super quickly. So if you're trying to tame one of these, I highly recommend making like 3 or 4 bug repellent, or actually you probably don't even need that much, and you'll be able to tame this nice and easily. Once you do get one and you ride it, there are a few abilities that this thing has that makes it incredibly overpowered. The first one is a rage mode. When you press C on the keyboard, it will emit a smoke from you, entering rage mode that makes everything in the area attack you, even if it's passive, like everything here. To demonstrate this, I'm spawning in a bunch of Phiomia around me. But first, I'm going to be smart, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build spike walls all around me in a circle like this. And then I'm going to zoom my camera out. And the way you do this is when you hold left alt, you can actually change the zoom of how your zoom is when you're on top of your dinosaur. Now you can see I can see incredibly high, and if I hold left alt to exit, you can see my camera stays at a massive distance while I'm still in control. Now if I go ahead and I press C, which enters rage mode, as you can see with the red smoke, and if I hold H, you can see at the top right hand side of the screen, it says rage. Now you'll see everything's coming to attack. Even the Phiomias, everything, even the freaking pteranodons are attacking. Everything is trying to attack me here. So you can use this to bring all sorts of enemies towards you so that you can fight them. You actually do a ton of damage as well as a pachyrhinosaurus. It's a great way to do insane damage. But also with the rage mode, it's a very easy way to get yourself killed. Apart from rage mode, they also have another mode which is called hidden mode. This also only lasts for 20 seconds, and if I hold H, you see at the top right corner it says hidden. This is actually super insane because you can make carnivores ignore you. For example, I just spawned this Carnotaurus in. You can see it's attacking me. Once I right click, which is the control, right click to do hidden, you'll see after a few seconds the Carnotaurus will just forget I even exist and it will walk away. And now is your chance to run away as fast as you can, because you cannot spam right click. You can't spam this ability over and over and over again, unfortunately. There is like a 10 or 20 second cooldown between how often you can use it. But you can see I've already gained some distance from the Carnotaurus, and I'm home free. It doesn't even know that I left. At level 28, we unlock the quarter wall or railing, which is like basically a half wall. We get the handcuffs, the bear trap, the fireplace, the manta saddle, and the stone large wall. Let's first talk about the walls. These are the large stone walls. Essentially, they're just one item that stacks the wall 4 walls high. So it's like basically 4 walls stacked on it normally. It's just in the form of one item. The quarter walls are like this. They're basically half walls, as you can tell. If you want to like put something in here, if you want to keep like certain kind of creatures in a nice pen where you can still reach them or see them. The fireplace sticks to the roof like this, requires fuel like wood, spark powder. You can also cook food in it. Essentially, it's an upgrade to the campfire, and just looks a bit better, and you can put it inside the house. The bear trap is a very interesting item. Right now, it doesn't really have much use for PvE, because most small dinosaurs that you'll use this on, you can also go ahead and use Ebola on, which is a lot cheaper. However, if you're playing PvP, this bear trap can also trap players when they walk into this, and it will keep them stuck for a decent amount of time. Once you do place it though, you need to wait about like 10 seconds or so until it sets. As you can see like this, it opens up and it's ready. Now, if I stand in there myself, I will literally be trapped for the full duration of the stun that it's there, with no way to get myself out of. So don't accidentally walk into your bear traps. What people do on PvP is they normally put this all around areas where they suspect enemy players will be running through, so that they can't run through without getting stuck in place, and you can easily kill them when they do. You should know that when somebody triggers the trap is destroyed soon after, so you can't reuse them. The handcuffs are an item that you're going to equip on the enemy players. I think they're gloves on their character. So if you find a player who's unconscious, or maybe you knock them unconscious by shooting them in the face with a tranq arrow, you can then equip the handcuffs on them, and when they wake up, they will not be able to use anything on their hotbar. They will essentially just be handcuffed. Quite simple, really. Now, in order to tame a manta, you need to do a few things. The first thing you're going to need to do is get angler gel, because you have to feed the manta as a passive tame, and it will only eat angler gel. And you can do this by killing angler fish that look like this in the water, as you can see, typical angler fish. So go ahead and use your dolphin that you tamed in the previous episode, and go ahead and kill yourself an angler fish. You'll see once you do kill yourself an angler fish, you will end up getting angler gel from harvesting its body. Over here, you can see angler gel. We're going to go ahead and keep that in our inventory. Now, taming a manta this early on in the game is quite difficult, right? First things you're going to have to do is grab angler gel, put it in the last slot in your hotbar. You should know that a manta is going to attack you when you get near it, which makes it hard to feed it without it not attacking you. But there is a small cool way you can actually use bug repellent. When you consume bug repellent and it lasts for 600 seconds, apparently the manta will not actually attack you. So there is one that I summoned in the water here, and what you're going to want to do is lure them to the shoreline or somewhere away from the big sharks, either using your dolphin to bring them closer, like this one over here that's getting too far. Now I'm going to shoot it. It's going to come to me. We're going to bring it to the shoreline where we can reach it a bit better. It's going to try attack me now, even with the bug repellent. But you'll see while it's attacking you, you can still press E on it to feed angler gel. You can see here, it's now beginning the taming process, and we can track it like this. I know I'm in creative mode, but it is very hard to do this in a clean recording. In survival mode, this is not a tame that is done easily. You should know, as you can see, by the giant megalodon. Oh, it's back here. We can go. Can we feed it again? Come here. Come here. You'll have to wait until it's hungry again to feed it a second time, or a third time, or a fourth time. The higher the level, the more angler gel you'll need to feed it. You should know when you find manta, they'll normally be around basilosauruses and also be in a pack. So you will have to try get them to shore, kill the ones that you don't want, and lure off the one that you do want, and then go ahead and, passive tame it by just being next to it. Right now, I think because of the bug repellent, it's not actually attacking me. So use that tip to tame them as easily as you possibly can. Once you have it tamed, we can go ahead and put the manta saddle on it like this, and we can go ahead and we can ride it like this. Now these are very fast. Look at the speed that we're going. I mean, keep in mind we still don't have the scuba gear, so we can't breathe underwater. But what we can do is we can swim right at the top of the ocean, and when you press spacebar to jump, you can literally glide out the water. I don't know why the dolphins can't like do dolphin stuff. Like, how come the mantas can do like the jumps but the dolphins can't? That's really weird. But anyway, that's how you tame a manta. Really difficult. I would recommend looking up for specific videos on like actual techniques and strategies to grab one of these boys, but at least you have a rough idea of what you need in order to tame a manta if you ever do want to get one. It should be obvious that when you go ahead and you jump on land, they do not work on land. They die. Yeah, who'd have thought? At level 29, we unlock the metal spike wall, the tripwire narcotic trap, the ballista turret, along with the spear bolts, and the gallimimus saddle. The first and most notable thing here is the metal spike walls. As you can tell, these spike walls are also very expensive, but you should know that nothing, at least wild creatures, can break these. The only way to break these is with C4 from another player. So if you manage to protect your base with these all around, nothing else is getting in. We also have the tripwire narcotic trap, which works just like the other trap, except when somebody sets this trap off, it's going to put like a narcotic gas in the air. So when they run over here, it does this and it will apply torpor to the players or anything else that ran through there. It might actually knock them out. You'll see when a creature goes over the strip line, it will activate the tranq gas in the air and it will knock them unconscious. As you can see, they just like all fell asleep. Pretty cool. The thing you should note, however, is that it's not tameable. You cannot access the inventory of the dodo, so you can't put taming food in them. So you won't be able to use these as a way to knock something else out in order to tame it. For the ballista, you will need to place down foundations so that you can go ahead and place it safely on top of something like this. You can also go ahead and place it somewhere nice and high up over your base like this, which is nice and defended. And if I go in it here, you can see it tracks that I have 83 spear bolts in the middle of the screen. If I press F, I can open up the inventory of the ballista and store my spear bolts inside of it. And you can see the ammunition counter changes to 21 in my inventory, 62 in the ballista. And I can go ahead and I can shoot these big ass bolts at whatever I want to shoot at. You can see it does a tremendous amount of damage. That was 800, 900 damage basically, but you just got to be able to lead your shots as much as you can because you can see there is a big drop off. Let's see, this should kill it, hopefully. Maybe this. That one should kill. Nope, it's turning. This shot should kill it for sure, right? Pretty sure. Nope, I missed as well. This one, is this shot gonna kill it? There we go. We finally killed it. It was only level 10. It's also a great way of getting rid of bigger dinosaurs that you want to kill. You can also see it has 360 degrees rotation, so you can aim wherever you want like this, everywhere. Next up is the gallimimus, this creature over here that has one of the lowest HP pools in the game. You cannot use a bola on it, and the moment you touch this thing and damage it, it runs very, very fast. So your only way to actually trap one is by using the bear trap and going as near it as you can. Honestly, you just have to get lucky and you have to hope that they walk on one of your bear traps. You might have to make a few in the area and just hope they walk towards it. The only unfortunate thing is the bear traps take time to load. You can, of course, use your pachyrhino to use rage mode and lure them into a trap like this, but eventually you might get lucky. If you do manage to get one stuck in a bear trap, try to use this method over here or build around it so that it cannot go anywhere. Once it's stuck, all you're going to do is use tranq arrows to the head. It will do twice the amount of torpor damage, but do note that there is an 82% chance to kill it. These are very, very tedious to try tame. You will want to wait the full 5 seconds between every single shot so that you don't kill them. Unfortunately, with this one, I was unlucky and it died. You should know at this part of the game, it is very, very difficult to, yet alone, just knock one of these out. because much later on you get a shocking tranquilizer dot for a long neck rifle, and that's the best way to put one of these guys to sleep. Right now it's incredibly difficult even with a pachy, but you should know that they eat major berries to tame, but they also lose torpor, or they gain torpor back very quickly. So while they're knocked out, you will actually have to interact with their body. For example, pretend this was a gallimimus. You're going to go ahead and put narcoberries in its inventory like this while it's sleeping, and to keep it asleep, you're going to every so often force consume a narcoberry in its inventory by pressing E while hovering over the narcoberries. And you can see here the torpidity of my dinosaur is going up. Essentially, you want to make sure that the dinosaur that's unconscious, the gallimimus, doesn't ever reach 0, which you'll see it will constantly always go down to 0. If it gets to 0, it wakes up and you have to start the taming process all over again. So make sure you keep feeding it one of these every so often so that it can, stay asleep until it tames. If you do get lucky and you manage to tame a gallimimus, which is incredibly frustrating, you can go ahead and put the saddle on it. This is one of the fastest land creatures that you get in the game. As you can see, it's pretty damn quick. It's a very fast way to explore through a ton of different things. Just know that they have very low HP. Their health is garbage. And their weight is like, in the middle. It's like average weight. So it's like a quick, easy way to deliver small amounts of resources or explore very quickly without grabbing or picking up too many things. At level 30, you're going to unlock the iguanodon saddle, the megaloceros saddle, the sword, and the metal sickle, as well as large cellar doors. One is a stone reinforced one, and one is a wooden one, and a behemoth wooden one. Starting out with those cellar doors, you can see here is a normal wooden one. This basically gets placed on the roof and gets used in this way to open it up so that you can fly into your base. The behemoth one is obviously a lot bigger. As you can see, it takes up 5 foundations width. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by another 5, which makes it incredibly wild for a base where you want to have a massive door into your base like this. The stone reinforced one is just a stronger one. Remember, these act as wood, so they'll get damaged by anything that can damage wood. The stone one is a lot more durable. Only very few things can damage this. To be honest, it's not much. The only one I can really think of off the top of my head is a giga, and I don't think you're gonna have a giga at your base. If you do, rip. The sword is basically a nice short-range melee weapon. I would still honestly prefer and recommend the pike over the sword, because the pike at least has a knockback, so you can hit things without them getting close to you, whereas this one is going to allow enemies to get close to you. I can't really think of a huge use where the sword is helpful. The metal sickle is incredibly helpful for getting fiber, because when you use this on bushes like this, you harvest a ton of fiber. Instead of getting berries and mixed things and hoping for fiber, this is a nice, great way to get fiber without using a dinosaur that does this better yet. The iguanodon is a wonderful dinosaur to tame. To be honest, it is something you're going to want to get your hands on as soon as you can get it, because it is an upgrade to the parasaur and has a few other nifty features. You can use a bola on it and use tranq arrows to its face to go ahead and put it to sleep nice and easy. No complications about it. You're going to put megaberries to tame it in its inventory. And once it's tamed, you're going to put the saddle on, and you'll see you can sprint on this thing for goddamn near forever. Like, the stamina of this thing rarely ever goes down. It moves quite fast, as you can tell. Like, it's got a very decent speed. Its stamina is literally like not even really draining at all. So you can travel long distances with this thing, no problem at all. It's essentially just a much better parasaur, which is kind of funny. It also has a nifty feature when you look in its inventory and you put berries like this over here, and then you hold E while looking at it. You can do seed fruit in inventory, boom, just like this. And then when you go open its inventory again, you'll see it will turn all those berries into seeds so that you can start farming a whole lot easier. I recommend you get one as soon as you can in the game. The megaloceros can be found in the snow biome of the map at the top left of the map. They look like this, basically giant stags. You can go ahead and you can bolo them just like this. And much like any other creatures that you bolo, you're just going to go ahead and you're going to trank it to its face until it goes nighty-night. You're going to tame it with the purple mejo berries, again, just like most herbivores in the game. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a saddle on it and we're going to ride it. Now, this is also a very fast land creature, as you can tell. Nice speed going for it. It's the 5th best thatch harvester. When you harvest thatch from trees, it will get a ton of thatch. So if you're needing thatch, this is one of the tames you should get early on to go ahead and farm a huge amount of thatch super easily. Apart from that, it's actually also really good at fighting. You can see here it does a ton of damage for what it is. It's incredibly powerful. If you get a nice high level, this thing will serve as a nice entry level fighter that you can use to both travel and kill enemy creatures. Just don't go like too big. Don't start fighting like high level T-Rexes and stuff. And that's everything from level 21 to level 30 in Ark Survival Ascended. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Check the description down below for the next parts for when the next part comes out. I hope you guys are enjoying this series and thank you so much for watching.